Hey guys, how's it going? Eli here, back with another video where today we're going to be having a conversation about correlations in the market, as well as how you can diversify your own risk when it comes to buying and investing in Pokemon cards. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as always, got to let everyone know we are doing a weekly giveaway. Literally every single week we'll be giving away Pokemon cards to you guys. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, leave a like down below, as well as comment. Like I've mentioned many times before, as far as how we run the structure of it, is we have 2 winners each week that will be given 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon packs. And as we increasingly get more and more subscribers, then we give out more and more packs each and every week. So our next goal is once we hit 500 subscribers, then we're going to give out a grand total of 18 packs. We're about less than 50 away from that. So for those of you who aren't subscribed, I really would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button, leave a like, as it really does help out the channel. And of course, it allows you to get entered in. And another thing as well, we are a relatively small channel, so you already have high odds as it is, and you can comment and like on each one of our videos that we post for the week, which allows you to have up to 3 entries, because how I structure it, as you guys are going to see, is I pick the comment from each video that got randomly generated, and then it allows you to get those multiple entries like we had last week, where we had one winner who actually got his name picked out twice because he had commented on one of the all 3 videos, and 2 out of 3 of them he actually got his name picked, so he was guaranteed to get something. So as far as it goes, you know, like I mentioned before, I really would appreciate it, and because it helps out the channel so much, and I can't thank you guys enough for those who already are subscribed. Now, as for the picker, we're going to get this out of the way, started off in the intro of the video. So for you guys that don't know, the 3 people that got picked, and like I've mentioned before, how I do it is I randomly pick one person from each video using a comment picker generator thing where it picks the people who are subscribed to my channel and have left a like and commented, and then from there it will then generate their name off of that video, and I do it for each video. And then once I've done that, I spin a wheel. 2 out of 3 of the people's names that popped up will end up having their of course name picked for the free packs. So the 3 people that we have for each video is we have Michael Chang. Oh, sorry, can't really see it because my face is in the way. I'll drop it down for a second. You have Michael Chang, you have Taco Online, and then you have Ocean Gecko 0. So you 3 were randomly picked. So as far as it goes, I'm going to spin a wheel. Michael, you were 1, Taco Online, you were 2, and then Ocean Gecko, you are 3. So 2 out of 3 of you guys are going to get a Fusion Strike pack. And like I said before, coming into the future video, once we hit 500, then we won't have to spin a wheel because all 3 of you guys will become winners. So let's spin the wheel and see what we get. And 3 was selected. So of our winners, our first winner is Ocean Gecko. So congratulations to Ocean Gecko. If you want to kind of leave us a, if you want to shoot us an email, pokemartusa.com. You can go to our website as well. All the links are down in the description. Shoot us an email of all your address information, as well as leave a little comment that you will also send in the email so that we can kind of verify it to you. So if you want to send a specific email as well as a comment, then that way we can kind of know that you're the one who is claiming the packs. But once again, congratulations. All right, now we're going to get rid of 3, and we're going to do it between 1 and 2. And it's 2. So congratulations to Taco Online. Same thing. All you have to do is go to support@pokemartusa.com. Once again, you can see those links in the description down below. If you want to kind of shoot us an email, just go to our website. And then, yeah. So congratulations to both of you guys. So sorry, Michael. Obviously, you got your name picked. But like I said, we're going to be doing this each and every week. So you will have multiple chances, of course, to be able to get these free Fusion Strike packs. And then as you guys might not know, we update the packs every time a new set comes out. So when it's going to be Brilliant Star next, it'll be Brilliant Star packs that we're going to be giving out, and so on and so forth. So, if you're not a big Fusion Strike fan, don't worry. You can continue to get Fusion Strike packs, or, have a chance to enter in. And then, of course, once new sets come out, then we'll give out new and more packs. But yeah, so on to the topic for today's video. So we're going to have a little bit of an interesting topic. I've actually talked about this in some of my older videos before. I've gone a little bit in depth into it, but I'm going to kind of make this one actually a fully in-depth video in regards to correlations as well as diversification. And so what do I mean by that, and why do I think this is an important video? Of course, I say that about all my videos, but I think this one is specifically as important in regards to the current market state. Obviously, a lot of the Pokemon card prices have kind of started dropping. I myself actually saw some Chilling Reigns booster boxes selling for under $80. Saw some Battle Styles booster boxes selling for under $80. So the fact of the matter that I'm able to now pick them up for less than market or distributor prices is absolutely insane. And so it doesn't look like prices have really dropped. Evolving Skies has rebounded a little bit. It's sitting at around 110, if I want to say. So that's actually not super bad because it was like at the low. I think it was $100 on like Black Friday. I know I was selling it for like 98 bucks on my site. And as always, you know, if you want Pokemon product, check out our website. As we do sell Pokemon product for, I would consider to be relatively competitive prices. But yeah, as far as it goes, one thing that's kind of interesting that we have looked at in the past is when talking about correlations, a lot of the times there are markets, whether it be the stock market, whether it be the commodities market, aka like gold and silver, whether it be the collectibles market, whether it be the crypto market, there tends to be a lot of correlation when it comes to price action. And we're about to show you guys something absolutely stunning and shocking in regards to that kind of correlation. Okay, so for those people that can't really see, this is, or you should be able to see, I don't know why I'm saying that. This is a chart of interest over time of Bitcoin specifically. And so as you guys can see, we have interest over time where the peak overall interest of Bitcoin kind of went and shot all the way up back in December 3rd to the 9th of 2017, and then right before, cryptocurrency prices crashed. And we can see that in a correlation between the overall chart of crypto. Here, we're going to take a look at the chart. We're going to zoom it all the way out so that you guys can see. If you guys want to take a look right here, all the way back in December, Bitcoin almost broke $20,000 and then it completely plummeted. And with that, you can see the correlation in price compared to the overall interest over time. And that's why I think interest over time is actually a very important chart, because you can see that very similarly when it comes to price correlation. For those people that aren't familiar with this chart is, these are called candle wicks. Basically, they just represent the overall price action of which whatever that asset went up to. So you see there's this like kind of full body, and then you see this kind of like what's called a wick, or like a little stick. Wick means that's the price action that it got all the way up to, and then the body is just where it closed at the end of whatever time frame you're looking at. We're looking at monthly, so this was the price of Bitcoin at the end of the month, but during that month, this was the high that it was able to get up to, just so that you're not confused. And then the next month, this was the high of what it got up to, and then this is where it finished on a close. So yeah, not good. And typically if it's green, it means it finished higher than it did on the previous candle. Red means it finished lower. But anyway, going back to it, as you guys can see, there's kind of correlation between the price of Bitcoin back during that time, as well as the interest. One of the things I think that's kind of interesting is obviously you can't really see it right here because it's not super indicative, but if we want to go out on a 2004 to present run, we can actually see right around the time of 2016, we want to say, you saw that the price of Pokemon cards absolutely exploded during that time. This was kind of the evolution / Pokemon Go hype. And then shortly after, leading into 2017 in December, you saw it start to bottom out at that price. One thing I find that's kind of interesting about that is literally it's within a year apart from the overall cryptocurrency crash. So basically, you saw collectibles kind of make their all-time high, more specifically Pokemon cards, and then they crashed. And then following up with that, you saw Bitcoin make its all-time high, and then you saw it kind of make a crash. One thing that I find even more fascinating about this is, so we can obviously go and take a look right now with what's going on with Pokemon, and we can look at the past 5-year cycle. We can obviously see this chart I've used many times. So we had its overall height, and then it started to kind of crash and started to tank. And now, interest over time is, down in the 40s, 30s. And then what's even more interesting over that is obviously Bitcoin hasn't made its high, which is why I'm showing you guys kind of price trend on this overall chart. But if we take a look here, let's pull it out on a weekly chart. If you want to take a look and see something very interesting as far as it goes from the overall price correlation, Bitcoin recently hit its all-time high about, I want to say a little bit over a month now. And within the past, I don't know, a couple of days actually, the price of Bitcoin dropped all the way down to $42,000. So within the span of a month, it went from 69,000, 69,000, of course, it hit the meme, all the way down to 42,000. So if we want to kind of take a look, 42 divided by 69, that's about a 40% drop. So that's an absolute massive price difference when it comes to the overall price of cryptocurrencies. And then with that as well, kind of taking a look at Pokemon cards, obviously interest over time was all the way up to 92, I think is what we saw. And then interest over time went all the way down to 50. Yeah, and so it's interesting to see that there tends to be, within a year of error is what I'll say, correlation between the price of cryptocurrencies as well as Bitcoin. And so why this is important is this because it allows you to kind of take foreshadowing when it comes to determining how price action is going to go in one market over another. You see this a lot of the times in other markets. Like, for example, in 2008, if you guys want to take a look at the price of, let's take a look at the price of gold over time. So if we take a look at the historical index of the price of gold over time, we can see that within its overall history, going back to, let's look at 2008. So the price of gold back in June 2007 went all the way up to around $900. Then it tanked, and then all of a sudden it exploded, like massively exploded, all the way up in 2011, all the way to 1,770. Now, obviously the price of gold has broken its all-time high since, but one thing that's very interesting, if you guys see the correlation between that, for those people that weren't aware, we had a recession in 2008. I feel like a lot of you guys probably know that by now, but it's kind of interesting once again how the price after the market crashed, the overall price of gold went up. And this is where a lot of people kind of talk about the concept of diversification and why it's important, because if, hypothetically speaking, let's say that you had a stock that you bought in for, let's take the price of, let's take the low of gold. Let's say in this dip point, 730, let's just round it, say $700, right? Let's say you had a stock you bought for $700 and then you bought an ounce of gold for $700, right? Now let's say that stock went down 50%, right? And now you have gold on top of that. Well, the price of gold literally almost tripled. It 2.5x. So from that instance, if you had spent a grand total of $1,400, right, and you had it go down, your stock, let's say, went down 50%, which of course some went down more, some went down less. But if you divide it by 2, that means you lost a total of $350. So your overall portfolio went from $1,400 to $300 to $1,050, right? However, since you also would have diversified into silver, or sorry, not silver, gold, your overall actual gain would have been an extra around $1,000 is what you would have made, something around that, $800. But the purpose of me saying that is because, once again, this is where diversification becomes important. And so I know a lot of you guys are going to say to yourself, like, you know, Eli, I'm just a collector. I don't really care about a lot of this financial stuff. And of course, once again, I say this over every video. I think this is stuff that is still very important, whether it be very important in everyday life when it comes to investing, or whether it be when it comes to looking and knowing what's important in the market. Because as I've mentioned many times before, there are certain parts of the market that will perform better than others. And so for you guys, it's important to know that, because you can see correlations and trends on what's a good time to get in and what's a good item to buy. Because like we've kind of taken a look at with our last video, or not the last video, but the one before, when looking at Wizards of the Coast product, we obviously took a look at all the different kind of prices in regards to investing in holo, investing in sealed, investing in uncommon for a lot of Wizards of the Coast product. But with that being said, of course, there's always going to be niches in the market that are always going to perform better. Obviously, we know that with the Diamond and Pearl era, they're performing really well right now. I've kind of beat that horse in regards to using that as an example. So you're always going to have certain areas that are either going to outperform the market or you're going to want to go against it. So, and it's also important because you can kind of see that kind of stuff. So if you're like Eli, you know, do you think it's a good time to buy in this specific item? Well, let me put it for you this way. If you see over time that there's a correlation in the price of specific, you know, eras, like let's say, for example, a WotC, I don't know, let's say the price of a WotC booster box starts to go down in price, right? Well, you can damn well bet that if the booster box of WotC is going to go down, then it's going to correlate with a lot of the singles market. So you have to be able to understand that a lot of the prices start to correlate based on how they are, which is why I think it's very important. And so once again, going back to Bitcoin, we could kind of see based off the price of what's been going on with crypto, they tend to, how do I want to say this? It tends to be that crypto follows collectibles, which I find very fascinating. I would have never thought that it would be like that. But like I had mentioned before, back with Bitcoin kind of crashed in 2017 near the end of it, whereas it was the start of 2017 is when, Pokemon cards started to crash. And then starting off with this year, we obviously saw that the price of Pokemon cards really started to tank, I would say, back in April. Is kind of when they started to do their dump off, and now you're starting to kind of see that with Bitcoin. Now, as far as it goes, one thing that then is very interesting is, as someone who is a believer of cryptocurrencies as well as just an overall follower of the market, you have to ask yourself, okay, so what does that mean then? Does that mean that we're going to see continued downward action for Bitcoin? Does that mean we're going to see continued downward action for, collectibles? And of course, I don't have a crystal ball. This is not financial advice. I'm never a financial advisor. I'm just making observations, right? And this is something that we can see because I like to look at historical data when it comes to trends and seeing these correlations, so I can make a lot of future financial decisions based on what history has kind of shown, because history tends to repeat itself a lot, and so it's one of these things for me where I like to look at this stuff, and it's very helpful, and I think it's something that's important for you guys, whether you are a collector or an investor, to kind of look at, because you will be able to know a lot of the times whether it's a good opportunity to get in the market when looking at correlated prices. And you can do this kind of stuff as well when looking at, like, let's say like a 1999 base at Charizard, right? So here's an example. We obviously saw that we got our record price back at the start in March 2021, $400,000. And then just recently on auction, actually about a couple weeks ago, we actually saw the price plummet all the way down to $270,000, which is the lowest it's been since back in 2020. Now, of course, if you want to look at the overall price trend over time of, the Charizard in and of itself has, for more or less, been strong. Obviously, you had that kind of like pre-COVID like price panic where it did get that kind of sell-off, and you had like a kind of staticness of the market specifically as well in the overall ultra modern era back with X and Y. But as far as it goes, I mean, obviously, it's kind of performed pretty strong, but we just saw a recent price pullback, which how I like to kind of look at it is when it comes to WotC, Wizard of the Coast, they obviously are kind of the leaders in more or less of the market because they are the driving nostalgia, because they have the most amount of people in it. And when it comes to interest, and then on top of that as well, Charizard being one of the most popular cards, obviously it's not the most, popular to collect in terms of, first edition, because of how expensive it is. So it's one of these things where the demand is there, which is why the price is so high, but the overall amount to collect, investors, it's very unreachable unless it's for the ultra wealthy. But with that being said, it still is such a huge market cap because of how valuable it is and how scarce it is. So it is something that's important to kind of take a look at when looking at market trends. And you can predict that too, that if you say to yourself, okay, look, WotC's kind of falling apart, obviously Charizard being kind of the big king. If Charizard really starts to waver, then that kind of shows a little bit of a wavering in the rest of the market if it does suit. Now, of course, if it doesn't follow suit and it does continue to go higher, then that could show us that, it's specifically certain areas, once again, of the market are just, correcting themselves, and we're just going to continue into a, further uptrend. But as far as it goes, it looks more like just continuation downwards when it comes to overall WotC prices. But yeah, no, this is all, once again, very important information because, like I've mentioned before, I mean, in our last video, a lot of people that kind of got burned the most in this market were people that were over leveraged. It was people that kind of, specifically LGS, online retailers, and even just some people that were investors and card collectors even. A lot of people just kind of put it on a credit card, took a business loan, took too many pre-orders and moved their money around or whatever it is, and they kind of over leveraged themselves. And because of that, and they got absolutely wrecked. And not to mention the fact of the matter, there's a lot of people as well that didn't know how to manage their risk. They didn't know how to diversify their assets, and they didn't know that it's important as well to be able to hold money on the sideline in case something like this were to happen, you know? Because if you were to say to yourself, you saw a correlation or trend in the market going back, then you could of course make these predictions in the future, saying to yourself, okay, I know that, or I at least am going to predict that the price could potentially drop for this X reason. Kind of like how I mentioned before in one of my other previous videos, it wasn't surprising that we got such massive reprints in regards to recent Pokemon card sets, as well as, in my personal opinion, I believe we're going to be getting pretty soon here a Sword and Shield as well as Rebel Clash reprint sometime early next year. And the reason for that is based off the historical data that the Pokemon company has a trend of reprinting card sets that are about to go out of rotation right before competitive tournaments, especially considering the fact of the matter that tournaments are about to start taking away now that things are starting to open up with COVID kind of going away. Now, obviously, we have the Omicron variant that kind of everyone's talked about. From what I've heard, it's less deadly, but it spreads quicker. But obviously, I'm here to talk about economics and Pokemon, so you can do your own research. I'm never going to kind of talk about this kind of stuff, especially because, that's not my field of expertise. I just know what I've listened to, but I want everyone to make their own informed decision. But basically, the reason why I mention this is still because the markets kind of took a reaction, because there had been a lot of speculation about the market closing again because of lockdowns. As far as it goes, we don't know if lockdowns would happen. Obviously, I think that's something that's always going to be on the table. But if that does, then obviously that's going to play an even further effect into overall Pokemon card prices, in my personal opinion. We don't know if that'll be up or down, just because, of course, if more people want stimulus checks, we could see kind of a revamp or a re-wave of product going up, or we could see just continued downward price action, as we did see that the stock market kind of just took a massive dump. So it's all very interesting things to kind of take a look at, because we do have catalysts going on a lot in the market, especially with inflation prices rising ever so, or inflation causing prices to rise ever so rapidly. But at the end of the day, like I mentioned before, we're kind of focusing a lot on everything going on with Pokemon card prices. Of course, this correlates to everyday, economics, which, a lot of people, like I said, they don't like it. They like to disconnect it, but it's something that's just inherent reality. It's a part of it. It's a Pokemon card market for a reason. But yeah, all in all, guys, I think this is, hopefully you guys took away, once again, understanding Pokemon market card and correlations. I really encourage you guys to take a look at a lot of the historical data points, and if you have anything that you want to kind of bring to light and be like, hey Eli, I noticed there's a trend here, or hey Eli, like you just have any general questions about this, I'm always open, good or bad. I mean, I respond to both questions, of course, because I always like to have conversations that are, of course, productive and not hateful in the comment section. But yeah, that is all I have for today's video. One thing I will kind of say before wrapping it up, obviously, like I had mentioned before, do the weekly giveaway, subscribe, leave a like, comment down below to the channel. Obviously really helps out. Just leave that on any one of our 3 videos we post. 2 opportunities for 6 Fusion Strike packs, and of course you can enter in multiple times by leaving a comment and like on each video. But one thing I want to say is, obviously, when it comes to some of the recent content I'm producing, one of the ones that you guys really seem to enjoy was the Wizards of the Coast, the video on the Wizards of the Coast Pokemon card prices. So basically, I want to kind of get some more feedback from you guys. What is it, something that you guys want to hear or have me talk about? I know, obviously, like I mentioned before, you guys really took well to that. So I want to make sure that I'm putting out things that you guys like. If this is a topic that you guys like a lot as well, and you want me to go specifically geared towards kind of economics, then we can talk about that. If you want me to kind of go more in depth on just certain market of Pokemon, whether it be like certain eras, then of course I can always do that. But just leave like a comment that you really are like passionate about whatever specific area, or just something you wanted me to discuss and talk with you guys about. So because I'm always open to feedback, and obviously I'd love to make video content that you guys enjoy. But that is all I have for today's video. As always, thank you guys all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.